So if you want to say a couple things, maybe there'll just be a couple people, or we'll see however it goes. If you wanted to say speaking some Tlingit in a few minutes once we looks like David Katzik was there.
That's not on here.
Yeah. Yeah. Tlingit language is just awesome.
Most of the things I'm going to are all in English.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll check with I'll check with some of the other speakers as well if I see them in the hall. So I'll be right back.
And then tomorrow it's going to be Eetí history, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I gotta come to that one.
Yeah.
So you made it.
Hi, you
Hello.
made it.
Yeah, I've just been listening. I hear a few words I understand, but not too many.
Because I was trying to find this room, I finally found
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I was sitting at the other one, they were having a huge forestry.
Oh, right. Yeah, they were, well, I don't know what all they were talking about, family and other things. One guy was from Xh'atángi, Alsek, grew up on the Alsek River. I think his first name's Fred, but I don't know his last name.
So you picked some up?
I heard a few words I understood, but a lot of it I didn't understand, so
Oh, okay.
I haven't got that far yet.
Oh, okay.
But making
Yeah, I
progress.
thought you were really fluent already.
Who's that?
You?
Oh, no. I just know my conversations. I'm learning each of those conversations as we go. Robbie knows a lot more than I do.
Because yesterday when I saw all those animals, I thought, oh, we didn't even discuss some of those. I hope she doesn't call on me.
Yeah, she has a lot of animals. And she used a kind of sock, and I didn't know that one very
I
well.
was looking for the Sitka, the
Sitka.
Gugla.
I have those in my backpack,
Oh,
so if nobody else is here, we can do that.
they would have been interested in that
Yeah.
more than they were the animals.
Yeah, I think,
How we were doing it and the motions.
right?
They would have been interested in that.
I think, well, we went with Robbie had worked on the animal unit, and so she needed to present some animals too, and so that's why we used the animals yesterday.
Because we just recently started on the animals.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I think Robbie needs to be next in the other room where they're doing curriculum presentations this time. I don't know who's
This
going to be here.
free copy on that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they might have made some changes. Let's see.
My nephew had it. I gave it to him.
Okay, let's see. We're here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Robbie's going to be there. Oh wait.
This one?
See, they moved some of these things because they already showed this. But no, they're doing the curriculum like they did yesterday. They have other students, other teachers that have to present also.
And tomorrow's all A&D.
Yeah.
Hey, are you going to go to those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as she'll
It's
let
great to have a lot of aunties around. Sort of.
exactly. Yeah. As long as she'll let somebody else on board.
Yeah.
I remember when I was little, William Paul, they used to be going through the whole
Work.
donation to raise money so William Paul can go to Washington, D.C.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is he your father-in-law?
Staying at my folks' place. We
What-
had a house right on the edge of, and go near the water on the beach side.
Yeah.
In the center, we were right below the center house. On Hopkins.
So we're gonna get a camera set up here
Yeah, it's good.
and just hear the language. And so just whatever you guys want to talk about, and if more people come in, and I also know Renee would have some understanding and some response to the things you guys want to say. Just sort of anything, just as relaxed and informal or formal, or stories or genealogy. I think genealogy would be maybe potentially a good place to start, just to know who you guys are and that sort of thing. But beyond that, I just want to sit back and listen. And
Well, there's
we
a
who are
question
here.
I'd like to ask Renee. This afternoon, David threw a word out there. I already forgot what it was, but I had Jessica and Hans recorded. Were you there when he was talking? Something about a who. We don't have that kind of sound, so I wonder what word he's talking about. David Castle. I didn't recognize the word, that's what I'm asking about.
Oh, really? Yeah, I wasn't there.
Oh.
Sa ayo.
My problem is I'm having a hard time hearing. Your sister's the same way. I guess she was telling me she has a hard time hearing too. Nora, die schat hadden niet het voor 18 is.
Okay. Hawase Hawase Tatu Ada has to do I think that's yeah, ate ushi kakauta hai Alex. Yeah. Sakate Woodsnatch. I don't know basically. Akani awa Iron Akani and Kakani aya. Akan I'm saying to a sock to Kakayakawa, Xh'atángi City.
Cool metal, I saw your husband a few times, but he didn't stop and talk.
What's it that goes up?
Oh,
That goes up, that goes Steve.
when Huna's playing is when I see him.
Yeah. We shall take it then.
Heinberg Charles out with him.
Yeah.
Kapit,
You got stuck as Cody Haya for now. Haya, doing Yeah. Oh, the metal. And doing kuna fish. Trapas.
they got left out. They
Trapas.
got eliminated right away.
Deci aparece că țin de pe el de Xh'atángi.
What's that?
Deci aparece că țin de pe el. Xh'atángi, uitați-te că afuge de Xh'atángi cosa ea.
Marketing kapatini. Kecha each. I can't have a big thing. What you cheat at?
One of the things I shot. Kapag the shot na joke cheat. Ayoko ikki tatqaatis arqalu. Enkuchtaq ateaqaqqatinni.
Achterschanel, Sitka, I Xh'atángi. Xh'atángi, ja. Ja, SOK. Wel, ik ga ook Xh'atángi. Ja, kijk als je dit gewoon is ook Xh'atángi.
Takateja hatishkitnach. Atet ayutsips. Ako atkete yakatkin. Kesayach kutin. Hadaya pushiskitnach.
Ja, zes afdeelig weinig misschien. Dat is wat klaus.
Haya dat atehak de afweer. Ja, ik vind het gewoon niet goed.
Goed ook. Ga iets dat toe moet gaan kachwaatjes. Is dat. Dus een koosje kip die jaka.
The secretary,
Last year I de kakana koosje zo kwijt.
ja, het is weer.
Dus hij gewoon.
Ja, dat zo. Ja, dat zo.
Last year the language they were teaching us at school. I heard you finished a dictionary. Okay, she fit for that. Ach, so, I said I have to ask. I guess a coach should give me. That's why I held on to it and I found it. Because some of them, it's not set properly.
Achterhoed, ja, Shanak as the folk airpage. As the eat what we shoot. I want to say it's a chase, folk chase, a great ayak. I have to after take Kaya the ja, Kaya the old Kella, I have offset.
After I cooked the kitchen,
I have to yeah. They used to take a how to keep the Hayata.
That's not what it's saying. It's saying something else. That's the way some of the sentences are. It's not what it's saying.
A literal translation into a software. Says a day actually get literal translation ng Sitiya. Ako dyan ito sa kaya at sa ako. Kes.
Hustling Yakakaniga College and okay. Oh, you're not supposed to correct it. That's what they tell me.
Yeah.
They'll tell me, you're not supposed to correct us.
Well, it's our language and we have the right to correct it.
And to me, I think if we're going to learn the Tlingit, we should learn it the right way.
Kaya ka Diyos, kaya, ako na gusto ni Walter Soblaka. Iya ka tayo ka. Ijina kaya ka paha. Yako tete at iakche. Kaya ka sulu ka naman. Kaya
So controversial.
ya kiti ayo katulad. Ya was ako sa barbecue. At kesa sayi haji yo kaya kesa sayi haji. Just seek you are to circle.
That's a,
Seek.
oh,
Yeah. And that it is at Michinka.
For Valentine's Day, one time, I thought that the sweetheart used to call she could finish to take. It was sweetheart, all right.
No, otra adesso oggi e poi ha sa c'è faccio stesso. Ako has to inedge kanay ya university. Ya kaktek.
Yeah, gun Xh'atángi. When it been gun Xh'atángi,
Yeah. Adja Eetí ni linguistic. Xh'atángi aya. Kes linguistic dati I think it Xh'atángi. Adja tan aya diwa o ya atu kakatich. Adja panaya. 20 years from now, I have to cut that off. What's that? Who did it?
she did follow it.
Yeah,
Yes, in case you can't correct it.
yeah, Xh'atángi. Ako toward doon ko akaya diwa uta. At so kete sa Xh'atángi te akaya diwa ko. Ja, trotz der Feier. Ja,
It should be, yeah. This one too, I didn't think it was right.
no. Kante tuti kena putih.
My Pat used to laugh at Charlie Joseph. Dundee never she he to that.
Yeah, that's okay. There's something missing. There.
Eat for the sheep. Easy for the sheep. It's not fair. Ach, die Jews neemt, dat gehoorschap. Net de guru zei aan gaat doen. Als ik hoop dat je het doen.
Yeah, that's okay. It's a kind of oops. Yeah, that's a fire.
They could make jokes out of it.
You can make play charade.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why I say, okay, they don't want to be corrected, but then if someone came and understood what they're saying, they'll laugh at them for making a mistake. But it's not our fault.
And the
They
other
have to, so we able to.
and the other part
Ayana
is
kasausiku.
te hayana kasausiku. Yeah, school too na kasya teacher te hayana kasausiku. Kasi ko aya ha school too na kasya yawo They didn't go through our school. They went through school, but they didn't go through our school.
Kachawe hatu wa sakura ya kachukua ya kati ha'ayi.
That's a,
Ha'ayi away
uh-huh.
yi skuna wa sakura kuna ha eka away singe Xh'atángi stu tu ya skuna away.
Yeah, kaya to actually was one of the kakatuts. So,
Ako akadi ako na pagka tekta takyo kakatangge ka akadi ako na
yeah, okay, I trago Xh'atángi da kataseo kapia and kinoting. Trago Xh'atángi kataseo kap akute which chakapiki.
Ganachji tana dada.
Okay, kaya.
Achji Achji yasaka. So, what is the funny? That is the attitude.
I think the kind of thing. I gotta go. 5 after 4. I gotta go.
Okay. Jeez, a lot of good
She's
stuff.
on your personality.
So yeah,
Pasatin. I knew there was a lot of mistakes in this paper. The paper they gave me last year in learning Tlingit, and I just threw it in my bag and I didn't look at it till Just recently I started reading it, and there's a lot of mistakes in there. If it's printed, it will be a mistake. So that's how come when I read that sweetheart, I thought it was so cute. She looks so cute. They had a list of endearments, you know, for Valentine. That's where I saw it. That's where I saw that list. So how do they know that the heart is sweet? So that's all I was saying. So we could say, learn a new word. I'm beginning to forget some Tlingit words now. I always have to go and think about it. Then sometimes it just comes right back. At home, I think my kids all think I'm crazy. All of a sudden, I'll think of a word I couldn't think of before. And then I'll say, oh, this is it. I'd be saying it. They just look at me. What's the matter with me? Because then someone asks me, you know, how do you say this? And then when I can't think of it, I say, well, I'll think of it eventually. And I do think of it once in a while. Because I was fortunate. I had a great-great-grandma that taught me. We had to learn Tlingit from her. And she always said, you don't say this in front of people, or you don't talk like this in front of people. And she told me, it's impolite to point at people. So when they were teaching us Tlingit and making us point, I was having a hard time with that. But because that's what my great-great-grandma told me, you know, you don't point at people, it's impolite. And then improper words, you can't say, because it's not nice. But I used to like to whistle tunes. She says, women do not whistle. You can't be whistling. Women do not whistle. And whenever anybody passed away in our town, even if we don't know them, we have to sit still. She always used to tell us we have to honor that person and sit still and behave ourselves. There was a lot of things that was always off, they tell you. Whenever they don't want us to do anything, I guess they always tell us off. Taboo, you can't do it or you can't say it. So I was more or less taught by my great-great-grandma and my mother-in-law. So it's always hard for me when I hear a Tlingit word going wrong. I'll sit there and grit my teeth and just wish I could correct it and just listen to it. One time I finally said, when do we correct them through the sentencing? I asked them, when can we correct them? And then they said, oh, we better do it now, huh? Because one time I couldn't stand sitting there listening to them saying the word wrong and listening to the word, and they were all talking with that word, saying it wrong. So I said, pardon me, could I ask, when do you guys correct them when they say it wrong? So I'm just like an old grandma now. Yeah.
Chakaway Atina Hayati with corrections.
Tasa.
Chakaway Atina Hayati with corrections. Achaway Hatuasako Yakati Hatliko has Xh'atángi away. Testis yeast ha Xh'atángi.
So it's all right if I hear it wrong.
Achaway is a cool
So sometimes they don't, the elders get a kick out of how they say it wrong and laugh about it and have a joke about it. I know Mark and Paul Jackson and Mark in our class, they used to tease Robbie. And they used to make her make a word up, and they'd let her go so far with it, and they'd laugh about it because there was no such word. But they were making her believe there was that word. So when I was there, I didn't like that idea, so I used to tell Robbie that's wrong. There's no such word. They're just making you make it up. So I was there to correct it. They thought it was a joke, you know. They thought it was a joke, and they played on her when she was teaching us. So that's me. I like to say it right if I hear it. And then I found out each town has its own Tlingit lingo, their own Tlingit language. So when someone tells me there's no such word, or they don't say it that way, I always say, okay. But that's the way I learned it, I always tell them. But I wished I had taught my children so I could be able to talk Tlingit to them, you know. But my husband wouldn't let me. He always wanted to keep things secretive. So those secretive things were set in Tlingit, and our kids never knew what was going on. If he wanted to hide something from them, didn't want them to know when birthday's coming and he wants to hide, he didn't want me to teach him Tlingit because he didn't want them to hear when he's making or saying some things that the people are talking about. He didn't want them to know, so that's why my children don't know Tlingit. I taught them the basics like rice, potatoes, bread, water, and things like that. But I couldn't teach them Tlingit. Now they always listen to me. I like to sing choruses in Tlingit. When I'm in the car, I'm always singing Tlingit choruses in the car. And I'll say, when I'm gone, you guys will always think of me singing the Tlingit choruses in the car.
Yidataya Chade Hatna. Yidataya Hatuasako Hatlingit Xh'atángi.
Xh'atángi.
In Kanani, Quasi Astasni, Quasi just Ayego Genki, Ha eat it the she, Chikaway Hatlingit Xh'atángi, ten away, Ha ide Xh'atángi.
Chakujeri for Ache, Hasta Kwanik. Chakujeri, Achchi. Margani Chakujeri to Achchinuch. Singit Kainach. Chikasa Dari Fotos Atki. Just like I read a story for them. Hasta eat for two. Cindy Darius I read the whole thing about Cindy. After I got through, I said, who's this Cindy I'm talking about anyway? And they told me they figured an elder would say, instead of saying Sunday, they'd say Cindy. And I thought they were talking about a girl, you know, and I said Cindy. I was reading Cindy to them, and then I found out they meant church, Sunday.
Actually, Sunday Cindy, you do a software short.
Yeah, I have one with my grandma too. My great grandma, she had a few words in English. We needed milk, a can of milk, and she had those little cans, and we were out of it, and so we were trying to borrow it because we had a baby to fix milk for, and we called it everything we could think of, you know, so she could understand. And she couldn't understand what we were trying to ask her for. Finally, I thought of it. Let's just get an empty can and show her. And then we ran for an empty can, and we showed it to her, and she said, "Oh, wonk." The one word we can think of, wonk.
Because she winked.
She said wonk.
Wonk away.
She was quite a character.
Good away. It's his shaha.
Huh? Tata?
Good away. It's his.
Oh, she was from Killisnoo.
What's that?
Aguntas was the two. White Wallaby, I think it's where they originated from.
What's that? Do something get enough kills new.
Tata?
What's that? Do something get enough kills new.
Kataide.
Exciting.
The Hanako. John Shuika, you the Sagan. Shuika, the Singitae. Oh, it's Shuika, what is the Shuika? That's the last name. My great-great-grandpa was John Shuika. And my great-great-grandma was Kasaide. Annie Shuika. I used to have to help the elder women in Angoon fill out applications for old age assistance. And every one of them, when they try to remember their age, they start with when the Russians came to trade. That's where they'd say how old they were.
How?
Yeah,
Okay.
they always started from there, when the Russians came to trade. Because we picked up some words from Russia, like chayu, we got that from Russia. My grandma said they used to put skins up as high as a rifle to trade either for blanket, a cloth, or let's see, a rifle, blanket, a cloth, and pilot bread. They preserved their pilot bread and put it in their Indian box and have it in seal grease. They preserved it that way. Yeah. That's what my grandma told me. They preserved their pilot bread. They loved pilot bread. They used to trade for that. And they used to go to Seattle, rode on to Seattle to trade. My grandma used to call it Seattle. That's how come I know they have their own English words for things. She called it Seattle. She always used to go and pray for the weather. She also used to pray, tell the weather to calm down. And then by nighttime, if the weather isn't on, she's out there cussing. She's out the door, by the door, cussing at the weather for not calming down. But to start off with, she'd be praying for a good weather.
Wait, so what shan away? Duck aya. They shitan sapia. Achlis go train to take away we so what
Oh,
ka achiti day over cook. Aka way. We they to a cook. Yeah, what car away, we show what. To us the go. Sunny boy. Away. Yeah, hey, what's the good? That's the way we sunny boy. Hey, it's a cool sunny boy. That's the way. Do to us the good sailor boy.
oh.
Wait, punch away. To turn the away. Sunny boy.
That reminds me of another joke of an old man in Angoon. He liked jarred pig's feet. The storekeeper, but he didn't know how to say it in English. And he went to the store and he told that woman, "I want fat legs." She got so mad she chased him out of the store. But he was wanting a jar of pig's feet. But he didn't know how to say it in English.
I just the tea were car away. Do to us a good. You shut away. Glad so what? Touch us a good thing at your hatan. Aka awe car. To us a good as a cool. Think it your hatangi action. Kawe ya shukwana kaya. Exehan. Kawe. You shut your waka. It's the chan.
I'll bet that's the end of her lesson.
What's away? Just take car you hatangi after us.
You always have to be careful. They talk enough.
Nachaway.
Manko niet, but she doet. Especially my great-great-grandma, she always wanted to be at things and preach to us. There's one she had, she thought that kiss my ass is a cuss word, you know. She didn't know what it meant. And she was preaching to my aunties. And she said, when those boys try to flirt with you, just tell them to kiss my ass. And then my aunties all went, what if they do it? To her, though, it was just a cuss word, you know. She didn't know what she was saying. And they yelled and said, oh, it's the knee, what if they do it? Well, she always used to, she protected us. She was just like our head of our whole clan. She always protected us as a grandma. She lived to be 105. Walter almost made it. She was really tired of living though. She starved herself to death. So she lived to be 105. And I was going to high school. And she always says, another friend's gone. I have nobody else to talk to. She always used to sit me down and talk to me. Not to marry a brother. Always against that, you know. That was always against her. That was against her belief, and she didn't believe it, and she told me never, never, never. And when I was going to high school, you know, I didn't care who I dated. I didn't know. Then my mother would say, "That's your brother." And then I used to say, "Oh, gee, how'd they get to be my brother?" I don't remember them when I was growing up, I tell you. And my grandma, my other grandma, same class, she always, whenever she saw me talking to the same tribe, she used to send them away from me. Tell them to go home, stay away from her, that's your sister. And then she used to tell me, that's your brother.
What's your
Right
clan?
in public, when they see me, no matter where it's at, they,
Dapanaksa Eetí.
huh?
Dapanaksa Eetí. Dapanaksa Eetí.
I'm a raven,
Okay.
yeah. Dog salmon,
Mm.
tit shaw,
Okay.
tit shaw.
Sure.
Yeah, because Walter is my uncle. Walter Sobolov was my uncle.
จะไปฮึดซึกว่าเกเคลสนุก ฮึดสตี
Yeah, he was born in Gilliston. His father was an Orthodox priest, and he wanted to be a doctor, but my aunties and my grandma just made him change his mind. They said, what if one of us is brought to you when you're a doctor and you have to work on us? What you going to do then? That's why he didn't become a doctor. So he went for minister of doctorship, the doctorship and minister instead. Whenever he came out of school, he used to be visiting all my grandparents or relatives. And then when I come from high school, my mom would take me all over. And I never used to mind because they used to give me all the Indian food. I loved it. My mother used to take me to see relatives. Yeah, because we had a, how do you call, Indian doctor?
Echt.
Yes. We had a, it lived right up above our place. She lived in the center house. We lived below the center house. She was a blind woman. And we used to take her, I used to take her to the store when she wanted to. And then she used to bring us all her threads and needles, and we used to thread them all for her. She made us thread it at the beginning of a thread, and she had a cloth that she had all her needles on and her threads, and we used to thread it for her. She's blind.
Wow.
She used to get her out. And she fell and broke her hip. That's how we lost her.
What's to do with Sagun?
Kosfood, you did produce all Kosfood. I forgot her country name. Kafkasveg, Lingít. But she was Sarah George's grandma, his father's mother.
Eetí?
Yeah. It was his grandma. Here, I used to take care of her, help her with their things. Then one time I took her to a store. She wanted to find out how much was raisins. And I told her, not good cashew. And she said, and I thought, oh, I wonder how come she thought it was so much. I must have said it wrong, I thought. So when I got home, I asked my mom, how do you say 15 cents in Tlingit? And she told me, not good shoe. I said, shoe meant 35 cents. So I made it higher than it really was. So I found that counting up. So I used to make mistakes long ago too in Tlingit. So I know what it's like to make a mistake. And then my grandma, we all call her sick grandma because she had surgery. She's always bawling her mom out. Her mom was staying by her grandma. And my great-great-grandma got so depressed, she tried to kill herself. She got a knife. She knows her heart was here, and she knows there's ribs on the way, so she tried to poke herself through the stomach. And you know how tough my grandma is. She walked from where she stayed to where we stayed to show our mom. She was holding the bloody place where she poked. And she saved her from it. They took her on a boat. During that time, there was no planes and stuff. They took her on the same boat to Juneau. Yeah, and they repaired it. But that's how tough she was. She walked with it from where she stayed to and went to our place to show our mom that she did that. And she just got so depressed because our grandma was picking on her. That's the end of my story. Yeah, my father was in the hospital too. And the guy that works there, he knew what a pecan is called, you know, kwas. Yeah. And he said, Johnny, do you need the kwas can? He said. Johnny, do you need the kwas can before you go to sleep? And my father just looked at him oddly and didn't say anything. And then after he left, he asked my mom, "Dat is kostplain, so Xh'atángi." What is she offering that big pot to me for? Kostplain, he heard it when he said "Koscan." He heard it like kostplain. And he asked my mom, "What is he offering that big pot to me for?" Yeah, I always have some stories about Tlingit words, like my niece. They let her stay by me to watch her grandpa. And my dad, he asked Laverne, my niece, he said, he said, you know. And she looked at him, she was real mad, and she jerked the cup from him. She went to the kitchen, got the cup of water, and she brought it to him, and she said, here's your water, you skunk yourself. She thought he called her skunk. It's a skunk, you know, it's a tender word. Yeah, it's a tender, crooked word. He said grandchild is what he said. Skunk. And she said, here's your water, you skunk yourself.
Juice. Okay.
So what else am I supposed to do?
Tlingit Xh'atángi tin.
Lingít,
Xh'atángi. Yeah. What's the tatke tataya? Ach tik away there. Ach in kananique skatni. Yeah. The sugar at.
Oh,
Kechne away. The hunt away.
oh.
Akawe kechne away. Chayu.
Uh-huh.
Akawe ditwasago yachwakani.
Mm.
Shuk
Uaha. Shuk uaha.
Uh-huh.
Adu yachwakayawe. Aki shuk uaha. Akawe kechne. Das so it na ya. Chayu again.
Just like my mother-in-law, she told her nephew, he was in a hurry to go back to the class, and she told him, and he ran in the kitchen, got a cup and got her the hot water, you know, and gave it to her. And she was talking, she put sugar in it, and she stirred it up. Then she took a drink. She said, oh, it's Aihinache Ocean. She wanted tea. You know, because sometimes the elders, they call it yet Aihin, you know, the tea. And so he really gave her a hot water. And she put sugar in it and took a drink of it, and she went, huh? He just got me a cup of water.
But he could have seen the way we chant.
Yeah. There's always, they told Wuchjin Suk, the Shilpot has a clinic Nugin, Chavo Powell, to that's the Xh'atángi, to that's the Shilpot, Wuchjin has a clinic Nugin. They talk about the rich man with the lady with the baby on the back that cries. And they talk about that. You get rich if you take the baby away and tell them, I want to be rich. This man lived near Juneau, and he saw this woman carrying something in the back. Then he heard a baby crying, and he saw the woman. She was picking berries, and the baby was crying. So he ran down to the salt water, took a salt water bath, and he went to the woods and took the baby from her, and he was telling her, he wanted to get rich. And that man and that woman looked at him and she screamed. She was just carrying her. She was carrying her baby in her back and picking berries. And he thought it was that rich woman, the woman that can make him rich.
We ran some away afterwards.
There he was all naked.
You're probably naked, yeah. Then you beat up and stuff.
Grabbed her baby and said, I need to get rich. How much you gonna let me have? Instead, she screamed. He was in the bushes somewhere in June.
You're supposed to take the baby away from the wealth woman.
You could just
Not
see
be
him
dumb.
sing.
Yeah, it's just a person.
Get very
Oh.
That-
And then the
when
wealth
they
woman gives
told
you
that
all
to
kinds
each
of
other, I just couldn't
elimination.
stop laughing. I heard them telling each other.
And then you're supposed to get naked and
Yeah.
do you throw the pee in the air? There's one story
Just
I
like
saw.
my great-great-grandma, when she went to see a doctor, she was wondering what's going on, and everybody's going to see the doctor. And she got curious, and she said, take me to the doctor. And so they took her there, and she went to the doctor. And the doctor wanted to examine her, so he told her to take her clothes off. And she said, "What?" She said, shame you on. Give me money first. She told the doctor, give me money first. My mom used to beat the eagles with that story. Whenever they're telling eagle, raven to each other at parties, she always used to beat them. They all tell me to put those jokes down. That I know. And then I used to be a nurse, you know, and the doctor asked this one person to ask the woman, to tell the woman he wanted to do a rectal exam on her, you know, look for blood. And she didn't know how to tell him. She didn't know how to tell the older woman. And so she just told it as bluntly as she could. She went to the lady and she told the lady, "What doctor did Fawasiku chukti with you?" The lady went, "Oh, head no." She just bluntly said it. The doctor wanted to examine her ass. Yeah, I used to have to be careful whenever the doctors say, "Have Irene explain this to them." Oh, I used to hate those kind of orders. I used to tell them, "Could I take it and practice with it first?" That's what I tell them, because I always didn't want to make a mistake. Because you can make a mistake when you're in a hurry to tell something.
That was the Anahidup, right?
Huh?
The wealth woman.
Oh,
Anahidup.
yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he thought she was. That was a good one. He took the fast and everything, you know. He ran to
The ritual.
took all his clothes on.
Thought he was gonna get rich.
Scratch
He
her and
wanted
take
to
a stab.
Kanakita. Yeah, they used to know those stories. Kanakita.
Yeah.
We always used to take care of all the old people. We stayed in Nangoon, everybody would go to cannery, and we'd stay and take care of the elders that stayed behind. We used to get them wood, water, and take them to the store, take care of them. So that was our tour. That's how come when we were studying, they were saying Xh'atángi. We always used to pick Xh'atángi too for her wood, because she couldn't cut wood. My grandma that was sick. We always used to get her sacks of Xh'atángi. She had a colonoscopy, you know, a hole in her stomach. So that, she was our sick grandma. We had a sick grandma, old grandma, and crazy grandma. Our crazy grandma was the one that always forgot our Tlingit names. Every time we saw her, we always used to have to reintroduce ourselves to her. So we called her Crazy Grandma. And now my great-grandson, I'm a little grandma. He calls me little grandma. He's in Wrangell. I mean, he's in Anchorage. They lost their mother. The baby one was just like 9 months, no, not even 9 months when the mother died. So I have 3 grandchildren with the father. It's 5, 3, and the other one's just 1 year old now. So I'm his little grandma. So that's why he distinguishes me to his regular grandma. They know who he's talking about when he's talking about little grandma. Funny how we distinguish our people when, like, we had an old grandma, sick grandma, and a crazy grandma. So our family would know who we were talking about. Yeah, when we were growing up, we had them separated. My grandma then invited their cousin for dinner, and my cousin made a mistake, and she said, "Where does Xh'atángi?" You know, she just said, "Maybe I'll come there." So they got angry, they locked the door. She came, and she couldn't get in, they locked her out. Just because she said that, just because she said, "Where did Xh'atángi?" That's how, and then one time my uncle was going to paint his boat. He put it underneath their house to paint it. And the next day they were all complaining. They said they couldn't sleep from the smell of paint all night long. And he told them, "It's just your imagination. I haven't even started painting yet." And they were already smelling the paint all night long. And he hadn't even started yet. And my uncle, he was feeling high. My folks always had devil cup along the edges to keep sickness away. They even had a big bear skin underneath our house. And then one night, my uncle slept upstairs one night when he was drinking. He kept going upstairs and come down. The next day he was looking at his hand. He said, "It's funny, I don't remember going in the woods and I have all these devil clubs in my hand." You know, they put it in corners and whatnot to keep the sickness away. And when he reached and pulled himself up, he grabbed the devil gun. So he had it all over his hand. And by the way, I'm allergic to that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I found out when Pat was sick. One went into, one got into my hand, and boy, my hand got puffed up. I had to go to the clinic. So can't help me.
Yeah.
Yeah. We used to have medicines, old medicines for colds. My folks always had it boiling on the stove. And they always had ginger with lemon boiling on the stove too. Our dad was deaf, he couldn't hear.
Sheesh. It's probably a good time to set
Yeah.
a break, but yeah, it's just been huge. Thank you for your stories. That was really fun. A lot of funny stories too. And then the Tlingit.
One time when Pat brought me to the dinner, and your grandpa said, I wonder what new girlfriend Pat has now. He just brought her to the dinner, and they told him, duh, that's his wife. Because he didn't know I was married to Pat. Gee, we're going to be celebrating 100 years over there pretty soon.
With
In November,
A&B?
huh? In Sitka?
Yeah, at the A&B,
Over
yeah.
here.
Oh yeah. I hope to make it.
100
That should be
years.
pretty good.
Do you have all the history of A&B? A&S?
I've been working on it.
Oh,
My grandpa John did a history of the A&B.
yeah, because the history, historian, they were after us to get the story, to have the story and pictures around in the building.
Mm-hmm.
And we told them to put up whatever they had.
So you've been involved with A&S for a long time?
Uh-huh. 'Cause I remember the ladies telling me A&S, when A&S started at A&B, they used to be at SJS Sheldon Jackson, and they used to have a meeting together just like this, a get together talking. And whatever things are going wrong, they wanted to take care of it, and that's where Alaska Native Brotherhood started.
Yeah.
That's where they decided to get a place.
Well, maybe if you're here tomorrow, be good if you there's going to be a lot of discussion on A&B tomorrow.
But they used to tell me, society, they had some kind of society, they'd meet together, and then they'd talk about the things that they were, one of it was have the government